Ideal age to get married is the age 28 to 32.
A lot of people, would say what you just said, Danny, like you're dating your father, and his son was 3 years younger than me.
Before I get into it, I just want to tell the audience, thank you for all the love, the likes. Keep commenting. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. Subscribe. Now I want to get into my beautiful castmates, but before we get into everyone, to the left of me I have...
Hi, I'm Kellyanne.
It's your girl Amanda. What's up, y'all?
Your girl Denny Deuces. What's good?
Hey, it's your girl Barbara.
You know the vibes. Is Mr. Alpha, Rico.
So tonight, we're going to get into what is the appropriate age to get married. So I did my little research, and it says that there's a theory called the Goldilocks theory, right? And it says the ideal age to get married is the age 28 to 32. And within the first 5 years, because that's the least likelihood to get divorced in the first 5 years, the age 28 to 32, where you're young enough to be married and old enough to have sense. So meaning like you're old enough to realize true compatibility from puppy love, but young enough to not be so set in your ways. And you're like, flexible to be like, okay, just to have a compromise. And also I do believe though, that if you put an age limit on yourself when to get married, you'll find yourself scrambling around like, oh my God, I gotta get married, I'm 40 something, I didn't get married yet. So I feel like, even though there is an age limit, I'm saying there's no age limit. I believe it's not about age, it's about perfect timing.
Yeah.
And when you are confident in your personal and career life.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would agree with that.
With that being said, what is the appropriate age? Do you believe there's appropriate age to get married?
I don't. I do not. I think that's very dangerous to box yourself like that. Especially I know a lot of my female friends, they're like, oh, I'm this age and I'm not in a relationship. I'm not getting married and I'm running out of time or whatever. And I just think that's, I don't know. I just think that's dangerous to think because you have your whole life. Your life is your whole life. And you don't commit certain aspects of your life to just a certain decade of your life. You know what I mean? You're not oh, I need to grind in my career in my 20s. I think you need to be in your career. You picked your career is your life. So that's your whole life. And yeah, I think when you know, I'd like to be a little bit of a romantic in that way. And I think that's really all I have to say. I don't think that there should be an age because I think that's a bit scary and it puts too much pressure on it when there's already enough pressure on the whole idea.
Well, girl, I think I'm one of your friends because I am the type of person to say, I need to get married by this and this age because, yeah, I'm going to be running out of time. And that age to me, I feel like is in your 30s. I'm just going to put that time gap in it because right now I am in my 20s. And like you did say, people use your 20s to focus on your career. But I feel like in this day and age, there's a lot of hustlers. There's a lot of people starting businesses. There's, there's a lot of women and men getting to the bag, hustling or whatever. And once you set that foundation, the earlier you do it, the more you're setting yourself up for success in your career for the rest of your life. So once you get that done earlier, you can focus on what the rest of your life looks like.
But sometimes that doesn't take just your 20s. Sometimes that takes a long time. And some people don't even realize what they want to do until they're in their 30s or their 40s, or they have a completely different career change. And
sometimes that's because they don't have somebody with them. Maybe if they had somebody with them the whole time, then that person can help them find new depths of themselves so they don't have to change their careers. They can find their career and stick to it. Or they can find that person that can help support them and help grow their careers. If let's just say you were 26 and 28, for example, and you just started your career and you got somebody that's supportive, that believes in you and that's pushing you, then that self-doubt may never trickle in. Maybe that lack of support system may never trickle in. And maybe you both become successful together and you grow together. So
isn't that the dream?
I mean, it is a dream, but there's also a theory, because the theory is 28 to 32, and most men don't get settled in their careers or settled with their finances until 30. So that's actually smack dab in the middle of a theory. And the theory is not a theory based on poetic or fantasies and dreams. It's based on real studies and real people.
Science,
So it makes sense. Like for me, I believe that's the same thing. 28 to 32, I would give that a great 4-year range. I don't want to be 45 stuck in because I'm already kind of stuck in my ways now, and dealing with relationships, I find myself having to get out of the ways that I grew up and was taught or what I've experienced to learn. I can only imagine how much more experiences I'm going to have that I'll be stuck in the more that time frame goes on. Also, the more partners that you have in your life, the more you're going to compare that partner to your new partner. So if I've been dealing a single life for 45 years and then I compare all of my experiences to one person, they're never going to live up to that. And it's going to be hard. You're going to get to a point where you're settling for a relationship instead of settling for a happy.
Well, I agree. I don't think you should ever settle. I think that, but if you're still comparing your new relationship to your old relationship, then you're not over that old relationship.
You're not comparing the relationships. I'm saying
just said you were.
Experiences. I speak very, very clear. You're comparing your life experiences. It's like if I go to Mexico today, right? I'm going to compare it to Colombia that I went to.
Okay, that's a vacation. We're talking about relationships.
But you're talking about your experiences. So I can have a great experience with her, right? And a great experience with her, and a great experience with her, and a great experience with you, and then have a 20 years down the line, I'm dealing with somebody and things are getting hard. So now I'm thinking about, do I really have to deal with this? Well, I never had to deal with this in any of my other relationships or any of my other experiences.
Yeah, but I think a marriage is different than a relationship. I think a marriage is a bigger commitment. And marriage, you take the vows and you work through things. If you're not willing to work through the hard things in a marriage, then you shouldn't be married.
Yeah, but if you're 45 and you're dating, what age do you really think you're gonna get married? In the first 6 months?
Maybe you don't want to get married. You're 45, you've been dating, and maybe you like that life. Maybe you don't want to.
But we're not shaming that. The question is, what is an appropriate age to get married?
I feel like, honestly, the perfect age to get married in 2021 is 35. And I feel like it's 35. I had this argument with my friend earlier today, and she was like, no, as a woman, your biological clock is taken. You need kids. I'm like, okay, for a woman, between 30 and 33. But for men, 35. Why? Because men honestly, I don't see a man being a man till they're 30. And as a 30, that's when a man really know themselves. Now they want to go explore. They want to go be a little hoe. They want to go do all that extra stuff. So I feel like they have that time, and that's when they're in their career prime. You know, they have that time to have their fun. As a woman, I feel like they're 20. You shouldn't get married at this point, because it's time to travel, to follow your dreams, to have fun, to be a little hoe. Fuck whoever you want to fuck at 20, because it's at 30, you don't want to do that no more. You know what I'm saying? I got my friend was like, Danny, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? You are pushing, you about to be this, that, and third. I'm like, yo, listen, I'm the underdog. I'm overqualified. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm telling my friends. But I'm like, I don't want to get married till I'm like 30, 32, 33. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't feel like, I feel like I got so much more to learn. I feel like I'm still like, when I was 20, I thought I was grown. I'm like, damn, I feel dumb as fuck. Then I'm like 25, I feel dumb at 26. It's kind of like, okay, now I'm like, okay, so maybe I need to be in my early 30s to get married. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of, in today's society, you know what I'm saying, but biological clock or whatever, think about it. A lot of people already have kids since they was like in their 20s. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Most women already got a kid by the time they're in their 20s and they're not married. We go to more baby showers than we go to wedding. Let's be honest. Sure. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like at this age, where we need to get married in our 20s, because there's so many, there's a lot of divorces happening. People don't want to stay with each other anymore. There's so much happening. I don't think in your 20s, every man that I meet, because I like men in their 30s. When a man tell me he's 30, I'm like, oh my God, that's a turn on. 28, whatever. 30? Oh, you 30? You 32, you 33. I feel like that's the age for a man. That's their prime. A woman prime is 25. A man prime is 22, 23. That's when they don't got no fight. They're just not getting money. They're just not knowing how. 32. I feel like 30, between 28 to 33, a man, that's when they really start getting money. They have their mama crib. They getting their own money. Their financials together. They're having fun. They feel like they're the man. They even look better at 30. Yeah, dude. I know, dude. You, Rico, I met you when you was 25, 26. I thought you was a little boy. Now you're like 27, 28. You got more we got more manhood into you.
Beard. That's all you got.
I'm just saying, saying like
And
a
this shit
man,
still got
a man
holes.
don't measure up to they're like 30. A woman 25. A woman is like 25. I'm young. I'm da da da. But a man at 30. I got my job. I got my financial. I got my crib. I got my car. And now I'm fucking bitches. You gotta give them that time to have fun. You know, I done mess with dude when they were in their early 30s, and now they're like 33, 34, and now they're slowing down. Like, you know, and I have my fun.
I mean, yeah, because upon my other studies, because I did a lot of research, they said the perfect age for a woman to get married is 28. Well, women in the U.S., because I can't speak for the arranged marriages, so that's why they preface it as saying women in the U.S., the perfect age to get married is 28, because you're now getting into your career, or you're already in your career, you live life socially, and for men, 32, same thing. They're getting into their career, they socially are like more seasoned and more settled
confident.
and more confident. So 28 for women in the US and 32 for men.
I can
are the
agree
age.
only because I feel like I'm 27, so it's like I just started thinking about it though. Like
Yeah.
up until this point, I never thought about getting married. Like I feel like, and that's what you were saying. Like you have to have everyone, and it's like, you know, we've talked about this, like the hoe phase that you go through, whatever. But like, it's not even just a hoe phase. Like it's just not even on your brain. Like thinking about marriage and like, but I guess when you get older, like things start to get real. Like you're paying your bills more consistently, and you're like, okay, this is important, and your priorities change, and you're like, whatever. So I think it's just a matter of when it starts coming into the forefront. When you start meeting people, and you're like, oh, I'm looking at you for a different reason. I'm 27 years old, and the oldest I've ever dated is 30. I haven't even thought about marriage until this year, honestly. It never crossed my mind before when I was dating guys.
I mean, yeah, I think that for me, I dated a guy 18 years older than me. And that was it was a lot of pressure, and it was not the best experience. I think that was way too old.
Yeah, you dating your father.
Should women date older?
It depends, because I was 22.
Wait, what's older? I just have a question. Like, what's older? 4 years, 5
She
years?
about to
Yeah,
tell
like,
you.
what's
She said
that?
18.
What's older?
18 years.
18 years. I was 22 and no, 20. Yeah,
Let's say
22.
10 years? 7 years?
Yeah,
She
that's
said
older.
18?
Yeah, I mean,
No,
mine's
but
just
for
18.
her question.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but just for the general question.
Yeah, I think that you should, but not that much older, because 18 years, I mean, that's a whole high school. Like,
So where would you cap it?
I think I would cap it. I think 8 years is safe,
Okay.
just because I've seen that with my family, with my mom and my dad,
Okay.
and like my family's from Brazil, and I feel like the men are always that much older, like 8, 10 years, 15 years older. But then I see how that slows the woman down a little bit when they're after the 8 years. I think that's the oldest I'll go. And my experience was, you know, there was a lot of secrets between him and I. He also, a lot of people, you know, would say what you just said, Denny, like, you're dating your father. And his son was 3 years younger than me. And I used to joke around and call him my stepson. You're not my son, you're my motherfucking stepson.
Why did you say it like that?
Because Nikki said it, so it was in my head.
Okay.
But no, it was not the best experience. It was very toxic, and he wanted to have kids imagine I had kids with him at 22, 23, and he's 18 years older than me. Like, that would be terrible.